Okay. Did Bob Wadman ever tie you up?
No, he threatened to.
Okay. So these afternoon get-togethers, did anyone ever physically beat you up?
No, I was not beat up. I was slapped around. They would do things to hurt me intentionally, sexually.
Would they put objects inside you? Is that what you mean?
Yes, they. One time they said I was too old, and that I had to be shaved. Sometimes they were just real harsh.
Do these people verbally or physically threaten you if you didn't cooperate that they would harm you?
Only one guy did. The rest didn't have to, because Larry was sitting in the car, and I knew that all they had to do was say that they didn't like it, and he would get me.
And what did you take that to mean, get you?
He would hurt me, make me disappear, take me away. He would beat me up. He could kill me if he wanted to. Physical violence.
Do any of these things to you?
No, he would grab it and pinch me and pull my hair. A couple times he'd slap me.
And why would he slap you?
Anywhere he felt like hitting. If I said something that was maybe the wrong thing to say, he'd slap my mouth. He would pinch me really hard. Either on my breast or sometimes in my genital area. He'd grab my arm and dig his fingers in up underneath here so it would leave bruises. That's about it.
During any of these encounters, were photographs ever taken of you?
Yes.
And who took some of these photographs?
I don't know his name. He's young guy. I believe his name is Rusty.
Okay, now let me clarify so we're not getting...
I was 19 and I had written some bad checks. I was in jail, put in jail on a Friday night.
Where?
OPPD,
okay.
Downstairs, not DC, but OPD. And that Monday morning, I went and saw a judge. I had like two $10,000 bonds. And I signed my name to a piece of paper and walked out. And that's it. The judge, they asked me a couple of questions. Where do you live? and I told them where I lived, and they said okay, and asked me if I had a job, and I said yeah, and I walked out.
Okay. Did Wyman ever take photographs of you at other parties?
No, he never took any photographs
Okay.
of anyone. And he had done some favors for Larry, and that Larry owed him.
What kind of favor?
He never came out and said, you know, what he did. He had said that Larry wouldn't be so rich if it wasn't for him. He said that. He said actually what he said is he wouldn't have so much money. And I mean, by this time I knew.
Did you hear that?
This is in late 86, 87.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
And where did you hear that?
When we were talking.
Where?
We were talking, it was in the Twin Towers apartment, and we were upstairs and we were talking, and Larry had gotten into a fight with this guy Gene.
Larry King?
Larry King had gotten into a fight with this guy Gene. Gene was one of his lovers.
Gene Mahoney?
I don't know. You mentioned a kid named Wally Webb, and I know a guy named Joel Webb that was part of that, that was my age. His name was Joel Webb. He was there one time. A lot of it was me handcuffed with my hands behind my head and my feet tied, and doing different things.
What do you mean?
Sometimes it would be a guy straddling over my face.
Okay.
And that's when they took pictures.
Okay, and when you say they, who are you referring to?
Okay, once a rusty guy took pictures. Larry took pictures most of the time. Larry King took pictures quite a bit during that time. If there was any way I could get out of a picture session, I did. If I used every excuse, everything I could possibly think of to get out of those.
Were other...
No, I never meant their names. They were too busy talking to most of the adults.
Okay. Since you brought up Judge Carlson, when was the first time you had a sexual encounter with Judge Carlson?
It was in the spring of 1984.
And where did that take place?
That took place at the Quality Inn.
Where?
In a hotel room.
Quality Inn where?
Bellevue. I'm not sure if that's the name now of it, because I think it's changed names like 2 or 3 times. But that's the name now.
Okay. Larry King?
No, Larry became Larry.
Okay. And what did Judge Carlson do to you? That occasion.
Mid sex.
Straight sex? I mean, did he tie you up?
No, he didn't do anything kinky.
Okay. Did he make you perform oral sex on him?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we had straight sex.
Did he perform oral sex on you?
No.
Okay. And again, what's the time period now?
Of course he wasn't going to say anything about him.
Do you think Father Val Peters or Father Hupp, director of Boys Town?
I don't know.
Okay.
All I know is that they had to go talk to somebody, and they
Never give you an idea who?
No, they found out that one time Jeff Hubble came home drunk, and they put him in Epley Chemical Dependency Center, and they got him out of there. Larry King and those guys got him out of there, and that's right after that he disappeared.
Okay, when was that?
That was in 84. That had, let me look at my calendar here. That had to be like November of 1984.
Okay. Anything else there? Okay.
Well, the ones that didn't have anything, or I didn't think that really cared, they gave him stuff. Got to drive around in Mercedes, clothes. You could stay at the apartment if you wanted to, the Twin Towers apartment. You know, go ahead, crash out here for a week. I don't care. You need some money, we'll give you some money. And those of us that didn't like to be involved and didn't want to be involved were threatened.
Okay. Oh, so and who would do these threatening remarks?
Larry King.
Do you think Larry King personally did?
I mean, do I think he did?
But he doesn't have any power.
Well, if he wants, you know, when I was 17, and he was talking to this guy, Gene, and I was not supposed to hear this, he pulled my hair, and he brought my face right up to his face, and he said that if I ever see or I ever hear anything again, if I ever see or hear anything that was said, I'll never see or hear anything again. And, you know, when he's got, you know, when someone does that to you and you know that they have money, you know, I just knew him as a banker. And when they threatened, you know, that I can go find somebody that will kill you or that will kill your family, you're not telling anybody.
Okay.
The second flight I took was March, was right after school got out. And that was, Troy was involved in some sort of movies, pornography movies. And Troy had said to me, Alicia, and this time we flew through LAX.
You went from where?
Omaha to LAX. We went Omaha, Denver, LAX.
On what airline?
United.
Okay, and
What's the date?
what was the date of the second?
It was right after I got out of school, so it had to be May or June. May, June
What year?
of 87.
Okay, and the first flight, what airline did you use?
The first flight, I think we flew United every single time.
And how was your ticket printed?
It didn't have my real name on it. I think one time it had my real name on it. It had, let me think of the name because it was a really kind of unusual name. It was like Carmelia. Carmen, Carmelia. I don't know the last name that was on it. They never let me have the tickets. It was always, okay, here's your ticket, and I gave it to whoever when they came and got them. And that envelope, I never had that envelope thingy. You know, it was always,
Who handled the ticket?
When Larry, the kid, went with us, Larry did. The times that I went with Troy did. A couple of times we flew Braniff to Kansas City,
Okay,
and then we
let's
took United
not
out.
get out of sync here. Okay, now we're back to the second flight. You said you flew United.
Right.
Who was on that flight?
Troy and I.
Troy, what's his last name?
Troy Bonner.
Okay, and you went to where?
We went to LAX.
Okay, and how was your ticket printed? Do you remember?
No, I don't. I don't remember the name on it.
All right, and what was the purpose of the trip?
The purpose of the trip was Troy had been out there before to do some pornographic movies. He wasn't in them.
He was carrying them?